everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my tarot channel. I am posting again on TikTok because I've cured my ADHD with lists and meditation in the last couple of weeks. When I get very, very overwhelmed with life or just whatever, I can have attention problems, and it's like it floods my cortisol. I mean, not my, yeah, it floods my body with cortisol to have like the format of TikTok. But when I have that under control, it's like I don't give an F. I can handle this. So a little more centered than I was a couple weeks ago. So if you are on TikTok, I'm back on the talk. And I'm off Instagram because it's an evil, toxic scheme designed to steal our souls. So I'm not on there anymore. But you can find me on Substack if you want to read some writings that no one reads, which is just like journaling that I do for anxiety, basically, and some artwork that I post because I am an artist. So I was tuning into this like really positive energy today, and I had a couple of items on my list, and one thing is the phrase, "The wound is where the light gets in," which is a Rumi quote. I don't know if that's important to you. There may be someone who likes Rumi in your life, or somebody who is philosophical and maybe suggested Rumi at a time, and I'm offering that to you right now. I also posted the poem Guest House, if you want to check that out. I posted it as a short. It's a great poem. It's about sort of letting feelings come and go, letting experiences come and go. There's a lot of mindfulness in Sufism, which is Islam. Okay, so just I'm trying to just tune into the energy because it's really not an energy that I'm used to, because I've been in a different range the last couple months. So it felt very shocking for me and very exciting. So it's actually very cool, and it's very pure and beautiful energy, and it's coming up for you, anyone who's tuning in, watching this. And I feel like it feels like a release. It does have to do somewhat with spring coming if you're here in the Northeast of I mean, I'm in Connecticut, but if you're just in New England or on the Northeast coast of America, of the US, you know, it does change your energy. But it's not just that. There's something that you're letting go of, and I can feel it in my body, and it feels almost like taking off a shoe or something after wearing an uncomfortable shoe all day. And it feels energetic, and it feels really good. And I feel like it also has to do with overthinking. I think you're realizing somehow you are just seeing how much you don't let yourself relax. And I think maybe you've been forced into a situation where there's been deep rest that you've been having to take. I don't think it's the worst thing. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe you work freelance and now you're having less clients for a while, or maybe you changed your job and it's just the nature of it is different. Or every time I try to talk about work, spirit is like distracting me, because I think something big, your work is a certain way right now, but I think that within the next year, there's going to be something that snaps for you, where you see you may continue what you're doing now, but you may see like other avenues. You see options, and it's not just that. There's something else really exciting, and this energy. It's almost like an electric shock. Like if you put your finger, don't do this, but if you put your finger in an electric socket when you're a kid by accident because you're an idiot. Okay, but so you've been in a situation of like feeling trapped and like in bondage, not in like a hot way, like in a very maybe financial, or this could also be marriage, or just like something very toxic, a dynamic. But when it's reversed, it can be that it's deep rooted, but can also, I like to read it as that you're coming out of that. You're seeing the dynamic for what it is, You're aware. And that has to do, I think, with the release feelings that you're going to be feeling in your body, and a lot of maybe oxytocin and just sort of like positive chemicals are going to be released in the next couple weeks. I don't know why oxytocin came up first. Okay, so 9 of Wands reversed. I feel like you've also been very defensive about you've had a very defensive energy. Maybe you've been having to protect yourself. It's been a rough winter. Maybe it's been like difficult for you energetically to get through, but not just that. I'm sensing like an inner winter of the soul, and also there's been some sort of like disputes or like some like ill will that I think that also, since it's reversed, I'm reading it that you're coming out of that, and you're coming out of the defensiveness, you know, all of these like, you know, there was a situation with ill will, but you've kind of left that behind, and any bondage to it, you're like, well, I just don't have the energy, is what I'm hearing. My guides are telling me that you just don't have you're seeing how much energy we have in a day, and you're seeing how you want to spend it. And I'm seeing a lot of like fun and like happy times coming up. I'm seeing a new partner, or if you're with the same partner, I'm seeing a change in the dynamic that changes the whole thing and makes it better. Maybe you get into some counseling, or maybe you just are, maybe even like for some reason tantric is coming to mind, maybe like some tantric coaching or like something, or maybe you're like meeting someone new, as I said originally, or maybe it's someone that you already knew that like sort of tells you their feelings for you. I'm definitely seeing new work opportunity that comes when you have sort of not given up, but I'm seeing that you've like made peace with a lot of things. Like maybe you don't have someone right now and you're like, that's okay. Like maybe you don't have like the work you want and you're like, that's okay too. Maybe there's just people that are irrevocably like damaged in your life, and they just like they can't even agree to disagree, and you're just like, that's okay too. And I think, yeah, so there has been a big burden here, and you're actually like at the end of a cycle. At the end, you're at a conclusion point with this burden, is how I want to read it. And you're, you know, there was some just like toxicity with people coming at you, and it left you heartbroken, you know, in the situation with these people, I'm sensing. But I think that this is all now feeling like a memory, like a distant memory, whatever dynamic it was. And I'm seeing renewal and rebirth for you, and like crocuses in the springtime. I'm seeing the letter R. I'm seeing the number 17 for some reason, which would add up to 8, which is about rebirth and regeneration. And I'm seeing you doing things that you put off. I don't even know where that came from. I'm seeing you doing things that you thought would be hard, and now you're doing them, and it's actually not that hard. And I'm also seeing you realizing someone's gaslighting for what it is, and giving yourself the benefit of the doubt, and patting yourself on the back kind of for what you've been through, and being like, you know what, this may be where I'm at right now, but this keeps coming up in my readings. Do what you can with what you have from where you are. You can only do the best you can. You can only make some goals and try to reach them, and we're all doing the best we can. So I think that I want to shift the energy, because okay, I watched this really great white seedy underbelly video the other day of this girl who had this severe trauma from her growing up, from her development, sexual trauma. And what I loved about the video was she spent about like 5 minutes talking about that, and the rest of the video was talking about how she rebuilt her life and how she restructured her life, and she was amazing. I actually was like, I wanted to comment, but I was like, with abuse survivors, I almost don't even want to like interfere with their journey, because I'm just like, you do you, you know. But like, yeah, she spent most of the session with the guy talking about, then she went to the army, then she did this. So I want to be like that with you. Like, this is this energy. And the song of the energy was a LaMontagne song, which I'll put below. He's a really great musician, and it's called Forever My Friend, and it's about a relationship he, I suppose, had with a woman. It's about a man and a woman, and you can, you know, if you're same sex or if you're they them, you can adhere as wanted, as needed. As if one person's more feminine or one person's more masculine, do that. Or if you don't see it that way, don't do that. But it's just a really beautiful song, because it's about like commitment, that like you stand by someone. And again, this could be, my guides are telling me to stop correcting myself, but I was going to say this could be like someone you are with now, the relationship has changed and renewed, or someone from the past, or someone you completely new. But I'm sensing this energy of commitment and love and care, and it's a beautiful song. It's like, forever my friend, forever my love. Oh my god, it's so good. I'm gonna put it below. But it's just like the energy, there's like drums, and it's like, it's just this feeling of like there's a net, there's a safety net of care, you know. And I think you're creating that with yourself first, and you've been working for a while to build that, and now you feel a little bit more safe in your own self-wisdom and self-knowledge, and you're feeling more like, I can do it, I can do things, even if there's no results yet, which is a big thing in Abraham Hicks. They, you know, they may say like, you know, your vibration changes first, and it takes time. And also, you're living an old vibration. You're living just, whatever you're living now is just sort of backup from what was going on with you for a long time. This card's really important. This card's really important. This card's important. The other cards I'm going to leave till the end. Okay, so big time love energy here. King of Cups, Knight of Cups. This is about like a romantic quest or offering. This is about, or also just like maybe someone who is chivalrous, I like to think of it as. This is about someone who is masterful in emotional care. And this is about making things happen, being masterful in creating things in our lives, in manifestation. This is about a passionate energy. I'm feeling like the furnace is like lit in you, and you haven't had that for a while. Maybe there was some like minor CPTSD, or just PTSD, minor CPTSD, that's like a conundrum. Maybe there was like some brain issues of like something traumatic happened, and it took a long time to like get back into a neurological state of calm. And I want to say, just give yourself that time, you know, give yourself that time to heal. I recently had this sort of injury to my finger, and I learned a couple of things in the process. And one thing is like that the wound has to be open to heal, which sounds so poetic and is what they actually say at the place when you go there. So, and also it was numb for a while, and I was scared, and I was like, oh my god, what if it doesn't return to feeling? And then it started returning, and I was so excited because it was starting to hurt, and I was like, that means the feeling's coming back. And I'm feeling like that's what's happening with you. You've been numb. Maybe you had to take some, I don't know, like special medication to like deal with some really intense situation. Like sometimes in our lives it's okay to get that psychiatric help, or maybe it was just medicinal help. Maybe you had like a physical ailment that you needed like medication for a period of time to like survive. You know, maybe you've been in the hospital. I'm not sure who I'm talking to here. Or maybe I'm just seeing like a butterfly and a chrysalis, and that you've been in a gestation period of like, or like a baby in a womb. Maybe you had like a tough time in the actual womb, and you're creating your own sort of womb now. Maybe even literally. Maybe you've created a space that feels safe. One of my favorite books growing up was like a young adult book called Speak. I'll put the link below because I think young adult books can be amazingly written as well as just normal books. And anyway, it's about a girl who actually inspired me to do some I did basically this at my school. She can't speak, which I related to because I was very quiet as a kid. I was kind of a selective mute until I was like 5. And she has this like trauma that makes her not speak, but she's much older than I was when I was quiet. Anyway, the art teacher supports her, and he gives her this room, this like closet in the school, and she makes it like this like art installation of like writing and poetry and like art, and it's her safe space. It's her new like womb. And maybe that would be helpful for you to do, because I'm feeling also that book is about repressed trauma. She doesn't remember exactly what happened because her brain protected her. It numbed her, like my finger, from the pain. And then finally in the womb, she's able to feel those feelings and make the art and let it out. And it's just really a beautiful book. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I love reading. Oh my god, reading is such a godsend. Okay, but the Ray LaMontagne song is like, I have to put it below. It's like, okay, Justice, I feel like maybe you've been like in a situation where you were like scared. Maybe somebody was making you very anxious, very afraid, like to even like do anything in your life. Maybe you were trapped in a sense in a situation and you couldn't sleep. I'm sensing literal insomnia. I always say with this card. And I'm sorry about the honking, but that just confirms. And also just like, yeah, like maybe confusion and like lack of ability to focus because somebody was maybe threatening you or something traumatic like that happened, or even just continual arguments can really heighten the nervous system and make us overly stimulated. But the Ray LaMontagne song, it's like somebody or something it's like the energy is changing, and it's gonna be really beautiful, and it just like makes me want to smile. It just feels so like there's gonna be an end of this pain for you, this suffering, this time of like struggle. And yeah, just go forward on your quest. No te preocupes. That's what they say in Spanish. Do not worry. No te preocupes. And I'm also thinking, I was going to say something about balancing. I think that you've been balancing some things that weren't your responsibilities, or some worries that weren't needed. And I think it's just a time of like, sort of just relax and, maybe let yourself have that extra nap, let yourself go for that extra walk. Let yourself, it's sort of like the let them theory, but with indulgence. I'm not saying like eat a whole bag of cookies, because that's not like the best for your teeth or like your habits, but like let yourself have some cookies, You don't have to have 1,000 cookies to enjoy them. And it's sort of like that now. And I think that you're moving towards some financial security that's been missing in your life. And I want to get a closing message from Spirit about that positive relationship that's it doesn't even seem like, I couldn't even see that much of it, just that it's gonna guide you, whether it's the new relationship or an old relationship that's changed. It's gonna be guiding you, and you're gonna feel how much devotion this person has for you, and you feel that for them, and it feels like so relaxing, and it reminds you of the feeling that God loves us and God puts beautiful things in our life and our path. And ooh, yeah, and power. We have power. This is similar to the Magician card. You have the power, okay? And you're going to come out of this suspension period, because this keeps coming up. Happy family. happy family time. Whether it's traditional or non-traditional family, it's really time to like put the focus on joy. One of my favorite teachers, Abraham Hicks, who please Google, it's a collective of souls that channel through a woman. One of the early videos, the songs is joy, 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 joy is the key, joy is the key, because it's like the joy that leads us intuitively in our lives and is the North Star. So I want you to get there, and that's when all the good's gonna rush in. And it might seem really tough right now, but I'm feeling that inkling of that LaMontagne song, and I'm gonna put it below, where it's just, there's this like love and this pure joy and this peace, and it's coming for you, and whether you like it or not. So sometimes when beautiful or good things happen, or when healing happens, it's scary, and I want to warn you, like, you might not be ready for this kind of like joy or love or extreme passion. Maybe if it's a new love relationship, or maybe it's work that you're equally excited about, you might not be ready for this. So just get ready a little bit now, because then when it comes, the shock will be less. Because there's also the shock of things that have chronically been bad in our lives being cured or healed or improved. That can be shocking in a negative way too. So I love you. I'm thinking of you. I'm praying for you. I'm sending Jesus, God, Mary, some of my faves, Saint Michael, patron saint of emergencies, Saint Jude, saint of lost causes, Saint Anthony, saint of lost things, Saint Bernadette, a lowly, uneducated, illiterate girl who grew up in a one-room prison cell with her family and saw a vision of Mary, who she knew nothing of the Catholic Church, at a spring in the woods, basically at a grotto where pigs and trash were sort of left to survive. Trash was put there, and pigs went to eat whatever they could find in the trash. She saw a vision of Mary there, and then people would go there and be healed. And I want to tell you, whether you believe in Catholicism, or you don't have to believe in Mary or Jesus or not, that you can be healed. And that there's also a place in Quebec where people, there's a famous cathedral where people go, and when they're healed, they leave their items of their illness, whether it's a crutch or a wig or maybe a brace, or some sort of structure they needed, a back brace, or even anything that represented illness, maybe tubes or something they had to, like a pump that had to be, some people have chemo pumps. They put these things in a pile, and it represents the healing that happens, that they no longer need these accoutrements of pain and suffering. And that's what I'm seeing for you, is letting down these literal objects, perhaps, of things that you've needed to get through, and just feeling the joy. And I love you.